Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going over the topic of integers, basically talking about what integers are, where they come from, how they're useful, how to do things with them, like certain operations, very basic stuff. But this is the first video in my pre-algebra series, which will cover all of the topics that you need to master a pre-algebra class or course or anything of that nature. So let's get into integers. What is an integer? Basically, we can define an integer as any whole number, positive, negative, or zero. What do I mean by that? Well, numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, those are all integers. But 0 is also an integer, as is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and so on forever. Okay? So all of these whole numbers, basically numbers without fractions or decimals in them, those are integers, okay? So we have two main classes of integers. We have negative integers, negative, or positive integers. And then we also have the outlier, which is 0. So we have negative integers like negative 6, negative 152, negative 3, something like that. Or we have positive integers, which are more of, 2, 6, 27, 3,132. These are all in positive integers. And then we also have 0. 0 is a special one because it's neither positive nor negative. Okay, so that's kind of a basic introduction to what integers are. Now, what can we do with integers, or how do we really visualize what these integers represent? Let's think about a number line really quick. So let's say we have this number line. Okay, and basically what a number line shows us is we put 0 in the middle, and then you can have a number that looks like this, where we label all of the integers, both in the positive and negative direction. Okay, so importantly, this number line allows us to demonstrate that all of the integers are evenly spaced apart, right? The distance from 0 to 1 is just 1. The distance from 1 to 2 is just 1. The distance from 2 to 3 is also just 1. Okay, now if we wanted to go, say, from negative 4 to negative 2, we'd go from negative 4 to negative 3, and then negative 3 to negative 2. Okay, this would be a total jump of 1 plus 1, or 2. Okay, so say we're trying to look at the distance between negative 4 and negative 2. This is how we would do it. We'd think about it on a number line, and we'd see how many whole integer jumps do we have to make to go from one to the other. Okay. Now let's talk about integers in a different way. Because integers are both positive and negative, every single integer has an opposite integer attached to it. What I mean by that is the opposite of negative 3 is positive 3. The opposite of 1 is negative 1. Okay? So these opposite integers are basically just the negative values of the positive version, or the positive values of the negative version. So those are opposite integers. Okay? Now let's get another example of comparing integers on a number line. If I was to ask the question, how far apart is 3 and its opposite? What I would be saying is, how far apart are the number 3 and its opposite, which is the number negative 3? So how far apart are these? Well, we can think about it. We know to go from negative 3 to 0, it's just 3. 1, 2, 3. And to go from 0 to 3, it's just another 3. 1, 2, 3. So in total, these are 6 apart. Okay? So this is kind of how we compare integers using a number line. There's a couple of different real-life examples that we can use in order to get a little bit of a better example for this. So here's a brief question for you. So the temperature in the morning was negative 4 degrees Celsius. At noon, it had risen by 9 degrees. What is the temperature at noon? So using a number line, we can think about this just with integers, right? So where are we starting on this number line? Well, in the morning, we're starting at negative 4, okay? So we're now increasing, or we're rising the temperature by 9 degrees. So we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that's one more than 4. That would put us at 5. So we started at negative 4 degrees Celsius, and the temperature rises by 9 degrees by noon. So we go up 9 degrees, and we get 5 degrees Celsius. So our answer to this question would be 5 degrees Celsius. We could also go backwards, right? If we say, if at noon it's now 5 degrees Celsius, but by 6 p.m. it drops to 2 degrees Celsius, how far did it drop, right? So we start at 5 degrees Celsius, and then we drop to 2 degrees. Well, how far do we drop during that time? 1, 2, 3. So we dropped 3 degrees Celsius by 6 p.m. from our temperature at noon. Okay. Hopefully this all made sense. Let me know if you have any questions on what integers are or how to compare them, and I'll see you in the next video.